eventually you get absorbed in and you are Sonic.
Hey everybody, welcome back to No Repeat. It's a podcast where we pick 3 songs every summer with no repeats and no do-overs to try and decide what is the song of the summer. I'm Taylor Olmstead and I'm joined by my co-hosts Tyler Reed.
Hang 10, bro. Radical.
And Sean Evans.
If you're like me and you missed the 2 days of Cleveland pool season, there's always next year.
So it's our annual Song of the Summer special. This is one of our 4 or 5, every year special episodes. We do this one and then a few at the end of the year. And basically what we're looking for here is exactly what it sounds like, the song of the summer. Now, this can be interpreted a few different ways. It can be the person's song of their summer, or more of a global, this song was everywhere. It was the song of the culture for this summer. The only rule we put on this challenge is that the song has to have been released in this calendar year. So from January 1st, 2023 up until present. So I guess let's just dive right in and talk about approach. What were you guys looking for this year in the song of the summer? Was there a vibe you were after? Was there a song that you kept hearing a lot? Are you picking for yourself or are you picking for the culture?
So last year, I felt like there was an abundance. I felt like there was so much to choose from. It felt like there was almost a one correct choice, or a song that I felt like, or at least an album. I feel like Beyonce's Renaissance, I feel like was the in fact album, right? I feel like that kind of across the board was super popular. And so I feel like just to kind of get it out of the way, I guess, in some way. I feel like the Barbie soundtrack, just in general, felt like that kind of was the album that I feel like mainstream people were just sort of really vibing on. That's all the TikTok sounds are from that. But I feel like the songs that people are sort of resonating with aren't necessarily songs. They're good, but it's it sort of does feel sort of like a musical. In that way, it feels like a lot of the songs are sort of structured in such a way that they really go along with the movie itself, rather than I feel like sometimes when movies just have a bunch of songs in it, they'll just play clips of it. So I feel like that makes it hard for this podcast in particular, because I don't know, I'm not specifically that into that kind of format of a song. Though I do love a long meandering song that doesn't do anything, so who am I? But I feel like that entire album was just filled with artists that I love, but I didn't really feel like I really wanted to really put any of those songs really on the playlist in that way.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you had to pick an album for this year, it would be the Barbie soundtrack, or Barbie the album, as it is officially known. But there's not really another big record this year, or even a big single that I feel like is really capturing the nation, which is odd because there were definitely things that came out that could have. And I think for whatever reason, either they weren't good enough, or we're all too splintered in our tastes this year, or the algorithm just didn't play nicely. It's really a lot of the stuff that was super duper popular this summer. It was either old and just kind of enjoying a resurgence, or it was popular within a subgenre, and then you'd go and talk to other people and they had never heard of it. There are definitely groups of people, and we'll see this when we get to listener submissions, where a set of people pick a song that's their song of the summer, but then other people either haven't ever heard of that song or are no, that's absolutely not the song of the summer.
Right. And so I think with that being said, I feel like when I was choosing my song, I pretty much was there's a handful of songs that I'm these are really good and I really like them, but they feel better for end of year sort of contenders, and I feel like that's kind of they're summer-ish, but they don't necessarily feel like they are the song of the summer. So that felt like really hard. Like, like how many songs have I been listening to this summer that I've really enjoyed? Many. But I don't feel like none of them are really that stand out. So I feel like this year I sort of just chose a song that I feel like that really resonated with me, and I feel like a song that I think that if it were by a more popular artist would have been a sound that I feel like a lot of people would have resonated with.
What about you, Sean? Was there anything that really jumped out at you, or were you kind of like focused on your own thing?
I was focused on my own thing, but I tried to choose a song that was for the people. It was just a feel-good song for the people. And I just have been playing this song for 4 months now, waiting for this challenge. I didn't want to bring it up on any of the other things that we were talking about because I was afraid that, you guys would steal it away from me. And that's why I posted first, basically immediately after we launched this challenge. And God, I haven't looked back at all. I've been looking forward to talking about trombone for a whole week now.
Oh, man.
I'm glad that you are excited about a song like that this year, because I've had that a couple of years where like you have a song that's just on repeat all summer, and that's such a good feeling. And I don't know that I exactly had that feeling this year. Like I tried to pick something a little more broad that I feel like has been a big hit, but it is one that like I don't ever skip when it comes on, And I think that's also a good sign of a song of the summer is like some songs are like the sound of a summer because it's like a banger and it's like you can't escape it and you would just want to hear it all the time and it's like stuck in your head all the time, like your Break My Souls or whatever. This song that I picked, I think I was kind of more like every time I hear it, it feels like this summer to me. And it's not like I intentionally seek it out a lot, but like I think I will look back 2 or 3 years from now and be like, this is what the summer of 2023 sounded like. And also, to be perfectly honest, our time constraint really kind of messed us up on this one too, because like I said, there are a lot of songs that were very popular this summer that came out a ways back, including some that are as old as 2019, because the artist just couldn't tour those songs during the pandemic, and this is the summer that everybody is doing their big tours. Yeah. And so now all those songs from like 2019 to present are becoming huge again.
Like I barely remembered that Midnight's came out last year.
Right. Well, and
Taylor's like, this is her big tour.
Yeah, and like every single list that I've found of songs of the summer this year has Cruel Summer on it, which is from Lover from 2019. But she just put the music video for it out this summer because she's touring it as part of the Eras tour. Same thing with Bad Bunny. Beyonce had a few hits come back up this year. SZA. Like, I get it, But when you have that situation, it's like, we are trying to focus on newer music here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like any of those songs would be a great pick. And I'm sure we'll get to them in B-sides and listener suggestions.
I was going to say, I'm just looking back at our predictions from 2022. Like, big hits. Like, definitely, like, clear, like, subcultures represented there. Like, looking back on 21, like, so 22 I chose the Rina Soyama single, which is obviously, for the alternative girlies, that's a big hit, and then Break My Soul, obviously, and then Sean picked the Chats, which is, like, a little bit more underground, but I feel like that's still, like, like, that's a reputable artist that, has a lot of, like, backing behind it. 21, I picked Butter by BTS, and it's like, to be fair, K-pop's still a huge demographic. They're obviously doing their military service, I think, right now. Like, Sean picked Megan Thee Stallion, and you picked the song with Justin Bieber and Kid Laroi. That was also like a huge hit. That song still has like staying power, I feel like, on TikTok. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like this one's gonna be a weird one. This has been a weird summer for sure.
Yeah, so that was kind of the last question I wanted to do in the preamble here is like, what do you think the vibe of this summer is? Because I get the sense that outside of the big arena tours, like the big artists that are doing their like post-pandemic I Have Arrived thing, it's kind of a bummer summer. I feel like the songs are more bummery, the vibes are more bummery. We're truly in like the climate apocalypse summer.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel as much like a party as the last couple summers have, even during COVID, because I feel like we got those like party anthems to push us through the COVID summers. But this year, I don't know. It feels a little more bummed out to me. Do you guys feel that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I'm trying to even think of like what I've kind of been seeing around. You know, I feel like I do feel like rock and roll is kind of making a comeback this year. I think we've kind of talked about that at a decent length already. And I feel like there's like, I mean, to be fair, we're also old. So like, you know, at this point, what do we know about taste? But like, I'm trying to even like, can we grab like any kind of like, what are top hits right now? Let's just grab whatever.
So like Apple Music's Songs of the Summer playlist is Bad Idea Right by Olivia Rodrigo, Supposed to Be Loved, DJ Khaled, Lil Baby, Future, Mi Ex Tenía Razón by Karol G, Del Resto by Travis Scott and Beyonce, Dance the Night by Dua Lipa, K-Pop by Travis Scott, Bad Bunny and The Weeknd, Love Like This by Zayn, Vampire, Olivia Rodrigo, Barbie World, Nicki Minaj and Ice Spice. So like, yeah, I think there's like this kind of alt-rocky, like Olivia Rodrigo vibe going on. There's a little more like Latin pop this summer, even than last summer, which there was a lot of Latin pop last summer.
Yeah.
And then Barbie.
Yeah.
But once you get past those, I mean, it's kind of just those same things over and over down through here with a little bit of Beyonce, a little bit of Taylor sprinkled in. Like, there aren't a lot of other songs in here that I'm like, oh, this is surprising, or this is like different. Boy Genius, which falls in your rock theory, but again, like, is not strong enough an upper. Like, not necessarily. I mean, it goes, like, it's got a great build to it, but I wouldn't say that it's a feel good, happy-go-lucky summer song.
Absolutely not. Yeah, absolutely not. All these songs sort of feel like a strange sort of like apocalyptic almost in a way. I mean, this Jessie Ware album came out this year, and it's like it's getting like a little bit of like heat, but it's like it came out in April though. It was too late, or it was too early. I don't know. I feel like that Paramore album came out. That was great. You're like the Caroline Polachek album. If that album had come out towards the summer, that I feel like that could have propelled it somewhere. But yeah, weird timing.
Sean, you're more in the indie space. Do you feel like the vibes are kind of down over there too?
Like in terms of feelings?
Yeah.
I think indie rock kind of it always has like a sadder tinge to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's my experience, but I don't think it's any more sad than usual. I didn't have anything to say about your climate comment because Cleveland's actually, with the exception of the wildfire smokes from Canada, which has been bizarre here, the summer's kind of been cold. Like, it was like 65 today. It's the end of August. It's 65. Like and I don't think we turned on our heat until July, or on the AC until July. Like, we had the heat on in June. It's been like surprisingly comfortable here. Like, it was 85 the other day, and I was like, this is it. This is the end of the world. It's 85, guys. I can't function outside anymore. What's happening to me?
No, dude, it was 104 here yesterday. Stop talking.
Yeah, we don't have that problem up in the North Coast.
I was almost just more just saying that I feel like it's rained like every other day. I feel like it's been a lot, at least like where I'm at. I feel like it's been raining constantly all summer.
That's right. We got like some wild storms this weekend. I think they said in some places, like, I think they said this weekend they actually had a tornado in the city limits of Cleveland touch down since 1966. Like, that was the last time. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, no. But
this week on the weather show,
our favorite topic.
So no, that didn't really have an effect on me. I don't. But like, yeah, maybe a little sadder than normal, but not any more sadder than did it register on the Sadometer? Probably not.
I guess I would say, like, just to point at an album in particular, I feel like the Wednesday album, Rats All God, I feel like was kind of feeling that way. I feel like I said, I've been kind of been spinning that Bug Moment album that I feel like also is kind of like a sadness to it. I mean, it's like, what else? What else was there? Was like a few other ones, like, oh, also a Carly Rae Jepsen B-side album came out this summer, and I have seen no fanfare for it at all.
That is very weird, the lack of play that has gotten.
Yeah. Like the Geese album feels sort of like, it feels like it's not exactly like it's a good album, it's a great album even, but it doesn't necessarily have like an uplifting vibe to it. It feels kind of like end of the world kind of vibes.
That's what I mean. I feel like a lot of stuff this summer has been a lot darker than usual.
Yeah.
But you know, I think our picks are upbeat enough. You know, we're trying to end summer strong. We got a couple more weeks. Mm-hmm. Does anybody feel strongly about bringing the mood up with their song first?
I can start.
Get it, Sean. Bring it to us.
So this week I chose Nowhere, I'm the President.
It's gonna be real nice. Aren't you glad I won? I'm the president, yeah, you are voting, here I am. I'm the president, I love you. Who's the president? Me, that's the fucking victory. I'm the president, I love you.
So I did like a little bit of research on Nowhere. They're a new band, but I believe that Lewis Cole was a pretty famous drummer, and Genevieve is also a pretty prominent artist, but I have no idea. This is just kind of what Wikipedia is telling me.
Uh-huh.
I think I found this song on a Discover playlist on Spotify, and I listened to it and I was like, huh. This has an interesting sound, but it's neatly weird. So I liked it, and then it came up on another time, and I was like, huh, okay. Second listen, this is kind of catchy, and then it just got stuck in my head for 3 months. Like, it just comes on all the time, and I'm just like, God, this song is so good. Everything about it. I love the lyrics. I love the horns. I love the chorus. I love the piano solo. I love the drum solo and big horn outro. I love the message of Genevieve being the president and putting some tits on Mount Rushmore and just, you know, droning the deep state chodes, and there's just like great stuff. This song is just fun. And being yourself. And I think if I picked Megan Thee Stallion last year, I'm definitely about having songs in the summer that are about like owning yourself. And this is another one for me where I'm just like, coming out of the song in the summer, you want to feel good, have something fun. I'm your president. It just works.
This podcast is really just like a slow spiral into us becoming like Wolfpack stans. Nowhere is like very Wolfpack adjacent. Lewis Cole has performed on a couple of Wolfpack tracks. He is speculated to be in the band Clowncore, which, if you're not familiar, is like a super avant-garde hardcore jazz and circus music hybrid outfit where they all wear clown masks, and it's real weird. But I love this little scene of like super technically weird, but like well put together, like jazz pop rock stuff that Wolfpack and Nowhere and all of these related bands are doing. Every once in a while, one of these songs breaks into the mainstream, and I feel like every time people are like, oh my God, what is this? And this song is a great example of that. Like, I feel like you could play this for just about anybody and be like, and they would say like, that is really interesting. Like, they may not seek it out, but you have to admit that it's like well made, well put together, well thought out. And I love it. I'm with Sean on this one. I think it's damn near perfect. It's a ton of fun. Everybody on it is clearly like at the top of their game. The drum sound is so unique. Like, it's so muted, and I don't know how he does it, but it's got such a neat timbre to it that kind of punches through the whole mix, even though there's a ton of instruments on this thing. And yeah, Genevieve's vocals are super charismatic. Like, you just hang on every word she says. This is really cool. If this is what your summer sounds like,
Yeah, let's hang out.
Yeah, let's hang out. I want my summer to sound like this.
What's so funny to me is that Sean, noted non-jazz appreciator, and also notorious anti-fun song enjoyer. He says, I don't want my songs to sound fun. Chose a jazz, like kind of like a slightly joke jazz band as a song of the summer, because like I think it's funny that you know that without the context of what Nowhere is, right? Because like Wolfpack has fun, Nowhere has fun. I feel like all those people are kind of like they're playing straight, like they're playing jazz, like straight up, but they're doing it in such a way that like has like a slight tinge of humor to it, or a slight bit of like more like fun to it, because it feels like sometimes like that genre feels so stale and so boring. So they're like injecting some of this like very subtle like fun into it that I feel like is very interesting. That you kind of picked up on it. It feels like, I feel like maybe from Sean's perspective, it's like, oh, maybe this feels a little more fresh, feels a little bit more like interesting in a different way. It's like it's not taking itself so seriously. And maybe that's different. Maybe it's not fun. It's not necessarily taking itself seriously in like a way like the chats are, right? So like, I mean, I already kind of like Nowhere, but strangely enough, I'm like, ooh, they're trying to like have like a little too much fun. So I feel like I have the inverse of Sean. But I mean, like, it's cool. I think they make cool stuff, but I think I think this song plays not necessarily at like the pool, not necessarily in like a really super public place, but if you're like at like a cool bar, you're like on like a rooftop at like a swanky kind of place, or you're at like a kind of like an art party, or you're in somebody's basement, you know, like having like a house party. I feel like it absolutely is the kind of the vibe there. Like you're at like a wine bar, you're just kind of like having some little treats, and it's like you're just playing some little more avant-garde, a little more funky kind of stuff. And I feel like that's the kind of vibe I'm getting from this. Very like evening, very like late into like a summer evening. It's exactly where I feel like this is perfect at.
Well done, sir.
Thank you.
Tyler, you want to go next?
Yeah, I think ours are close enough in in substance. This week I chose Summer Will Wait by August Hotel.
Could have figured out, could have been the summer that your life had turned around. Now you wait, circle the drain. Could it really be this whole thing was a waste? Writing a toss it end, but if you see it through, maybe the summer will wait for you too. I don't see you.
So, it is wild that I found this song because, let me pull up the old x.com real quick.
Is it though? Is it wild that you?
Yeah,
found
this does not
song?
feel that wild for you, Tyler.
I could have closed
No,
my
no,
eyes
well,
and listened to
okay,
this and said,
okay,
I know who
okay.
picked this one.
Okay, so there's a woman named Eva on Twitter who is the singer, but she primarily talks about Yu-Gi-Oh! And she just at one point just randomly was like, hey, I also have a band, and if you want to listen to it, you know, here's like a new single we put out.
Tyler's
just-
reevaluating his life choices now.
I mean, I'm just saying it was very funny that she was just someone that I had just followed for that kind of content. And she's like, oh, I'm also just happen to be in a band. And so that's the part that's funny and feels unexpected, because she's like, they're out from like Chicago. So, and like, they have a decent amount of listeners on most social platforms, but it's not like a lot. Like, they're pretty local. In terms of their reach, right? And so there was a very small chance I was ever going to find the song in that way, except for that literal connection. Anyway, I think if anyone knows me at all, you'll understand why I like this song. That it somehow combines a little bit of that yacht rock, a little bit of that city pop kind of vibe. It's got all sorts of that nice jangly guitar. It's a little like lovesick. It's also really nice. But I think what really sells it for me is sort of like these just giant swells of these horns. And also just Eva's like vocal performance. Just incredible like depth and like bass to her voice that just is just wonderful. Like, I feel like it's very much a vocal performance I don't necessarily hear all the time. So it's just really was just captivating. And I don't know, I just feel like it feels summery, it feels shimmery, shiny, like it's the 1980s all over again. I would not know, I was not alive then.
I didn't know that Chicago was still actively making music.
Sean is, of course, referring to the band Chicago, not the entire
Yeah.
city of Chicago. Don't come
Yeah,
after.
no.
Don't come after us, Chi-Town.
Well, after the great Chicago music shutdown in 2003.
Right? Yeah,
They're
clearly.
done.
This is 100% Tyler vibes. It's very city pop. It's, very earnest. It feels like, to Sean's continued point, it feels like a musical number from an anime show or like an anime opening montage. Like, Tyler is bounding down the street, coming out of work with his iced coffee in hand, headed out on a hot date, on a hot day. They get fluorescent colored popsicles and look at some art. Like, it's a dreamscape that this song creates. And if that's, listen, Tyler's in a new relationship. He's feeling himself. He's enjoying a new era. Mm-hmm. I get it. I feel it. I feel it for him. The song's a little long.
Yeah, I will say the one critique, it's a little long, and it does have a fade out, and that is the worst part.
Honestly, like, I don't mind a fade out, but not on a song this long. Like, if you're going to be 5 minutes long, give me a gratifying ending. Give me a resolution. I think really it's like from like the 3:30 to 4:30 range, the just kind of vocal vamping before you get into the guitar solo.
Yeah.
I would cut it all.
Yeah, you can do that live. That's fine.
Yeah, just not on the record. I want to get the whole guitar solo instead of fading out on the guitar solo. And then I want one big chorus with like a unison hit at the end on the root chord to just like drive the point home. Cuz I mean, it's an incredibly tight band. Like, everybody is in unison. I love the arrangement. I love the horns. It just feels like they kind of become an afterthought in the last 40 seconds or so.
It's growing on me. Every time that I listen to it, it gets a little better. I do agree with a lot of Taylor's high-level things about it being a little long. But I think the more that I listened to it, the more I was like, I get it. I think the reason City Pop doesn't land with me and it lands with you is because you're just an innately creative person who's imaginative. And you can get kind of lost in a 5-minute song as you stroll down the street in your own mind. And I don't have that gift. And I appreciate that about you, that this is why City Pop lands with you, because you're there in your Japanese small town at night, kicking it, being fresh, and that's great. And this does feel like a summer song for you, so I'm happy that it's on here. I don't know if I would listen to the rest of August Hotel. There's another song just came on after YouTube, and
Yeah.
it sounds a little different than this.
Yeah. This
probably
felt like a
'cause
new
it's
direction.
a
This feels
little
like something
older.
that they're flirting with.
Yeah. It kind of has this has some like European power vibes to it, but interesting. It's not like it's executed poorly. In fact, I think it's really good. Yeah, just a critique on me, really. I'm the one that's wrong. This song is all right.
Oh boy. It's gonna be okay, Sean.
All right, well, that just leaves me. And this week I chose Flowers by Miley Cyrus.
Started to cry, but then remembered I can buy myself flowers, write my name in the sand, talk to myself for hours, see things you don't understand. I can take myself dancing, and I can hold my own head. Yeah, I can love me better than you can.
I know what you're thinking. You're like, Taylor's picking Miley? I've thrown some shade at Miley over the years.
Listen, there was a whole year where her entire personality was weed. It's okay.
More than a year.
There was, several years.
She was like the 17th member of the Flaming Lips for a while during a period of Flaming Lips history that I just don't really enjoy. But when this single came out, I was like, oh yeah, Miley's back. Like,
Oh, really? That's what you thought?
capital M Miley.
Oh, okay.
I was pumped. And then the record came out and it kind of underwhelmed me. It didn't do a lot for me, but as a lead single, as a song of the summer, as a pop disco anthem, Flowers kicks ass. Her vocal performance on it has this like gravelly sexiness that only she is doing right now in the pop space. It's the kind of song that, like, yes, Dua Lipa could have sang this. Like, yeah, you could have given this to, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of somebody else who could have sang this. You could probably have given this to a Carly Rae Jepsen. But Miley's voice is weathered enough that she really sells these lyrics. She really drives home this, like, I don't need you, I can buy myself flowers kind of like energy. And I love the way it builds, and to where you get the whole chorus in towards the end of, or you get the whole choir in towards the end of the chorus, and then at the end of the song they all just really go for it. I think it's a great refined step forward from what Dua Lipa was doing on Future Nostalgia. Like, not to say that that record is in any way bad or unsophisticated, but Miley clearly saw that and said, oh, well, let me show you what I can do. And this song, it's played a lot on the radio this summer. It's come up on a lot of Apple Music playlists. I hear it out and about, and every time, I can't skip it. It's addictive. It's an earworm. It's what you want out of a song of the summer. And it's perfect for being by the pool. It's perfect for driving with the windows down. It's good for just feeling yourself. You can buy yourself flowers.
Something about this song, like the second that I heard it, I was like, there's a lawsuit here.
You think it sounds too similar to something else?
Yeah.
It definitely feels like a classic in some way. I don't know what it feels like, but yeah, I would agree.
Like, a little bit of me is why I don't like it that much. It's not that it's not catchy, or that I don't see this like revamped disco happening in music generally. But it in that respect, it feels kind of gimmicky. Like, I don't know. It's not. It sounds like I'm dumping
It's
on
pop
it, but
music.
I'm not. But it just feels like this. If there was like a TikTok handle for this summer, it'd probably be like Lawsuit Summer. I feel like it's just been everywhere right now. So if you're a good record producer in Los Angeles and you need to find a way to, get your crap out on the map right now, and you have something that comes through a camp that sounds really good, and you're doing it for Miley, you're like, oh, well, she'll survive this. Plus, we'll get lots of hits because Miley will be back on late night television talking about, having her little Lana moment or whatever. So, yeah, it's the perfect lawsuit summer song. It was hot, so you put on your lawsuit.
It seems like Wikipedia says interpolates I Will Survive.
That's what I thought.
Does Gloria Gaynor get a credit on it?
Let's see. Where would it say that on, like, if I'm looking at
It should be listed in songwriters or producers, probably.
songwriters? It does not.
Interesting.
Lawsuit! That's what I mean. It just feels on its face very much like that. Like, I can see Miley Cyrus coming out in 3 or 4 weeks and saying, well, really, I was trying to get Gloria Gaynor some credit because she's an amazing musician and awesome songwriter. And then she'll do, like, I don't know, what's like a hip drug to do nowadays? Is it like a fentanyl with stevia in it or something like that? She'll get a face tattoo, she'll go to rehab, and she'll be out and be $1 million richer.
All right, let's take it easy. You
gotta. That was.
If anything, I feel like that's already happened. She's already past that. This is the growth.
This is just like the. Yeah, it's a good song. I like it. It's dancey. She's trying to do that video vixen thing. It's just.
But who's doing that anymore?
Does it need to be redone?
Maybe.
Yeah. I think so.
Maybe
a little bit. Doesn't need to be the entire cultural conversation, but it could be in there.
Yeah.
I feel like as soon as Taylor put this in, I heard it like the one time. I feel like I'd heard this in passing, but I hadn't really like thought about it too much. But like once I like listened to it, I was like, oh yeah. I mean, this is obviously like the winner, right? Just because it's like big artist, big song, kind of like Sean said, it sort of like feels like it's coming from a different era. It feels very steeped in sort of like history in that way, but it still feels fresh. And I'm kind of like okay with that, like whatever, because I feel like by comparison, the threshold for interpolations has gotten so bad that it's like this is fine. Like the fact that there's like 3, 4, 5 songs probably playing on the radio at any time at this point, which are literally just like old songs from like the 90s and early 2000s that is just somebody like rapping over it or like saying some extra stuff on top of it. And that's not to discredit people extensions of like an extended cut of a song. That's like repackaging the exact same thing, a little mixed up, and like selling it as a whole new experience. Like, and that's like, that's the part that actually hurts.
Right. Barbie World is fun for the novelty of it, but it is just Nicki Minaj and Ice Spice rapping over Barbie by Aqua.
Right. And that's like fine, whatever. It's not gonna, it would, even if I was a fan of both those things, even if I did love that song, I wouldn't even feel that compelled to put that on like a playlist or whatever. I don't know. It just feels like, feels like nothing. That being said, I feel like by comparison, this is at least something. Because I think what makes a difference is that I don't necessarily feel like although sort of like the arrangement and sort of like the general like musical arrangement of it feels very like steeped in that history, it does feel like lyrically feels very, very of the now, feels very current, right? It feels very much like just pushing the idea of sort of like that sort of like being like dating yourself and sort of like really just like trying to treat yourself right in that way. And I feel like that's a mentality. It's like obviously that's been happening since time memoriam, right? But I feel like in the way that it's phrased and the way that sort of like it's spoken, it feels very of the moment. And I feel like ooh yeah, I feel empowered by this, yeah. So, I mean, I feel like this like wins just for the fact that it's like it's Miley. You know, I feel like this will probably be for a lot of people. But I mean, I think it's also just good. I think it's good. I think Miley's song from last year. I don't remember what it was called. Oh my god. Because she also put out an album last year that was just alright. God, Midnight Sky. Yeah, Midnight Sky. Now that was good too. That was a heater. That was a B-side for me last year as well. So, but I'm into it. I'm into her new era, whatever this ends up being.
All right, John. Let's rock and roll.
All right. So with that, it's time for the huge amount of submissions that we got for Songs of the Summer from our listeners. This is 247 Song of the Summer. We're going to go ahead and just start going through here, which is interesting because got lots of repeats here, but maybe that's okay. That probably means that you win. Okay, so Taylor Swiftie fan 13 picked Padum Padum by Kylie Minogue.
Great
I
track.
know this song. Good song.
Didn't quite get there. I felt like it needed a little bit more time in the oven for it to be the cultural.
Yeah, and I don't know that it really crossed out of the gay club scene.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kylie. Ms. Christopher
Mize.
picked. Oh, Mize.
That's his
Mize
last name, yeah.
Christopher? Mize Christopher. Dance the Night by Dua Lipa, or, this is a comment, or the more jokey answer would, I'm Just Ken by Ryan Gosling.
Both from the Barbie soundtrack. Love it.
Perfect EJ, yeah. Perfect EJ O2 picked Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift.
Obviously.
Obviously, yep.
Came out in
Emily
2019.
Bamford.
Doesn't count.
Ooh, okay, sorry. Emily Bamforth picked Bad Idea Right by Olivia Rodrigo and said, this is the only answer.
I have not heard this song at all because the only Olivia Rodrigo song in my life right now is Vampire, and I need to get it out of my head.
There you go.
Miranda Barzy, this is the second pick here. I'm Just Ken by Ryan Gosling. And he's a man of many talents.
He's great at doing stuff.
Ryan Gosling, man of thing. At Nicktoon47 picked Boys of Summer by Front Country.
I haven't listened to this. I assume it's a cover of the classic Boys of Summer.
Not a remake of the Aerosmith's Girls of Summer, but with boys.
It very well could be.
Here's another one. DJack96 picked Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift. Man, we were like, there's a lot of songs that got 2 picks on here. So
That's what I mean.
Slow Pez Art said, unironically, Planet of the Bass, my serious answer would probably be Home by Haim from Barbie, or Alone in the Mountains by Goth Babe.
I've heard of the first two. I haven't heard of the third one.
Yeah, Planet of the Bass, if you weren't aware, is that I think it's originating on TikTok, but it was like, isn't it funny that this is what all Eurobeat songs sound like? And then they just made it into an actual song. It's like, you could just say random things and you can make it be Eurobeat.
Let's see. Neen Does Things picked Super Shy by New Jeans. And then comment is for fur.
For real, for real. Have not heard of this. I will check this out.
Elstot International picked Flowers by Miley Cyrus, so there's a second vote for that.
She knew.
Thank you, thank you.
We're gonna
She
see
called
if we
it.
can
Validate
close out
me.
the, Rory Snake. Okay, this I think Song of the Summer is Jump in Line by Harry Belafontaine. On an oldie kick, sorry.
Listen,
I was like, Rory, that didn't come out this year, did it?
No.
I'm pretty sure it did not. He's like,
Nah.
I don't.
nah, dude, nah. Harry
Well, I just
Belafonte has been dead for quite some time.
I was gonna say I was almost 100% certain, but
Actually, Harry Belafonte just died this year. Never mind.
oh well.
No, Jump in
That
the
means
Line.
we could pick it.
Jump in the Line is like from the late 50s, early 60s. Definitely not eligible.
So a couple decades old then.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Rory is the kind of person I imagine that went to the ballot box on August 8th and said, "This is the statehood vote, right?" You're like, "Yep, this is the statehood vote." And then finally, at 71 DPI, the right answer is probably something on the Barbie soundtrack, which is seeming to be more correct. But I haven't listened to it, so it's gonna be "Goon" by the OCs.
Haven't gotten into the OCs. Maybe this is my moment. We'll see.
Have we not picked the OCs at all for anything thus far?
No, I don't think I've ever even given them a real honest listen.
All right, well,
Educate me, Tyler.
it might be. I don't know if it's necessarily your vibe, but
It's worth a shot.
All right, and with that, it's time for our B-sides. These were songs that were maybe the pumpkin spice latte of summer songs. That maybe there's a little bit there, but not just yet. Anybody got some B-sides?
Padam Padam, Kylie Minogue. I think it's the gay song of the summer. Although it has sharp competition with Rush by Troye Sivan, a late-breaking contender for gay song of the summer. That song hits so hard. And if it had come out in May or June, if it had come out during Pride Month, the game would be over. But it came out in like late July, early August. It was, I don't know what took him so long. And then Calm Down by Rina and Selena Gomez. Did not expect to hear Selena Gomez on a Latin pop track, but makes sense. And she's great on it.
I don't have any B-sides. I just knew what I wanted all summer long, and I just went for it.
I said Days Move Slow by Bully. Still loving that album. I would have just chosen anything from that album. It's just real good. And then let's see. I think we'll leave it at that. Like I said, there's lots of heat, but not necessarily summer heat.
Fair enough. Well, Tyler, if people want to keep you warm, where can they do that?
Hey everybody, you can find my design illustration work at rudepets.club, and as always, you can find me on the socials as Rude Pets Club on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter.
Sean, if they want to beat the heat with you, where can they do that?
You can find me on Instagram at TellySean. And Taylor, if you just need like a nice, cool drink at the dog park, where can they find you at?
You can find me on the socials at TC Olmstead on Threads and Instagram. And all of these songs will be on the official No Repeat podcast playlist. It's on Apple Music and Spotify, so you can all listen to it. We're off to record our monthly bonus recap show, where we talk about our episodes and songs that didn't quite make the cut and what's going on in the music industry. You can get that by subscribing to our Patreon for just $1 a month. The details are down in the description of the show. And if you don't have the money or you just don't want to, that's fine too. We'll be back next week with another free episode of No Repeat.